Hello, what's up? It's Kale's Cool Movie Club. I'm joined today by podcast extraordinaire movie of uh, large popcorn movie podcast, Christian, good friend, big Ava buff. How are you doing, Christian?
I'm ready to be turned into LCL.
Hey, goo me
You know what
up,
I'm saying?
daddy.
Oh, yes.
Nothing but goo. But first, let's do a little interview segment. Tell us about yourself, Christian. Tell us about your passions, your hates,
Oh.
uh, why we don't hang out in person. I'm just kidding. I know why we don't hang out in person. We live in
I
completely
I I
different
don't even know where
states.
you live. Yeah, different time zones probably, I'm sure, too.
Yeah,
That's a hard always find these questions hard, like, I don't know how to describe myself. I guess
yeah,
my passion is one of my passions is movies. I do a movie podcast, Large Popcorn. We
yep.
just recorded one today on 1977's House, which is a Japanese horror film.
I still gotta watch that.
Banging episode. Yeah, I mean, that movie I mean, talk about insane movies. Like,
Yeah,
House is crazy.
I've
You
heard,
should watch
but
House.
I definitely want to watch it. I just haven't had
Yeah.
carved out time. Yeah, I've also been a podcast guest on there. Someday I'll do the Triple Crown and come back and talk about something. I hope. But
What did we do?
we did Harder They Fall and Jennifer's Body, the Millennial Citizen
That's
Kane,
right. Yeah.
and we talked about
Jennifer's
Evangelion on
Body.
those. Yeah.
I'm of the mind that I think the Millennial Citizen Kane is Twilight. I'm changing my answer. I fucking love Twilight.
That is a good option. I would put that up there in the pantheon of Millennial Citizen Kanes with Jennifer's Body.
Fantastic.
I fucking the only one I saw in the theaters was Eclipse, and fucking Eclipse goes so fucking hard for no reason.
I love Eclipse. Like, I don't think it's a good movie, but I love it.
Yeah,
Something about it.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Just like you get like sort of these normal like teenage millennial sort of vibes from the other four, but that one just like will have sort of those vibes and then just go hard for no reason because David Slade directed it.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
like decapitations and shit, and it's just like, what the fuck was that movie? And then you go to Breaking Dawn, and Kristen Stewart breaks her back because her child is drinking all her blood.
I don't talk about, I think, either of the Breaking Dawn movies. That did not hit with me.
What, you don't
Also,
like
the
that the
CGI
end?
baby.
Oh, thank God they went with the CGI baby. Because did you see the puppet baby?
I don't think I've ever seen the fake one, no.
Oh my God,
Was it worse?
it's so bad. I had a because I like every podcast I go on. I don't know if I did it on yours, but we did. Like I joke about the Jacob being a pedo and fucking a baby
Oh my god.
because that's what he did. Even though she looks like she's 22, she's like 6 months old or whatever. And so
Okay. I mean, how do wolves mark upon their whatever?
they piss on
What do
stuff.
wolves do? Yeah, they piss on them, right? Yeah.
Well, so what was it? I don't. Do you remember what it was called when? Because it's like they like because they're like extreme monogamous where they fall in love with just one person, and it's when the universe
Mm.
like stops and whatever. And like he thought he felt that with Bella, but it was really just one of her eggs inside of her.
It's so insane, dude.
Yeah.
And then it's like whatever.
But yeah, like yeah. So we did that. Harder They Fall is a really good one. Everyone should watch that movie.
Yeah.
It's
And it's on Netflix too.
yep. It's a Netflix original. It's really great. But yeah, that is so yeah, definitely go listen to that podcast. When I have time, I listen to it and it is a lot of fun.
Mm.
And I really enjoy it. It's one of the few podcasts I actually enjoy from our friends.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
But yeah, so let's go into some or let's do this. Let's not wait till the end. Because I know you got a heart out. What are some movies that you've been watching / that you would recommend for people to watch?
Other than Black Adam, I there's some great movies that are out this weekend, and I went on a huge movie spree this weekend. 3 different movies have released. One is Park Chan-wook's Decision to Leave, which is
Mm.
fucking fantastic. I think it's limited release, but maybe by the
Yeah,
time this drops, it's hitting wider. I
that's
think
what's up.
it's one of Park Chan-wook's best. Probably not my favorite. I still say his best is maybe The Handmaiden, but Decision to Leave, like that intrigue of the mystery thriller along with the romance that's typical with Park Chan-wook is fucking fantastic. Uh, Another movie that I want to shout out that I watched this weekend was Tar with Kate Blanchett, which
I'm
Tar
excited to see that
fucking
one.
it's good. Like again, for this one, the drama I think for me really hits. It takes a while for it to get going, but once it finds its foothold, it really holds me. And then it encroaches into the psychological. I thought we're
Oh,
banging,
nice.
and of course Kate Blanchett is fucking fantastic.
As always. Like,
And the last one I want to shout out is Triangle of Sadness, Ruben
mm,
Östlund's movie. It just came out, which is fucking great. It is hilarious. If you want to, eat the rich and have a good time laughing while
oh, hell
while
yeah.
while you're all about it, Triangle of Sadness is a good one.
Nice. I'll have to look into those because I know for a fact that the 3 of those movies you just described were not playing in my area at all.
Oh, that's fucked. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, Middle America. I almost went to go see Tar at the Telluride Film Festival, but that was a 6-hour
Mm.
drive, and there was no guaranteed spot. Like, you could buy a ticket there, and there's no guarantee you would get into the movie. So, and the
What would
passes.
you do in that case? Would they like refund you?
Oh no, actually, you wouldn't buy a ticket. They don't sell tickets until all the pass holders have gone in. Sorry, I forgot about that part.
Gotcha.
But also a
Okay.
6.5-hour drive to maybe see a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a long drive.
Yeah. Like, one year I'll get. I mean, those passes for Telluride are like fucking $500. So someday I'll be rich enough to buy one and go there for a weekend. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's the
especially
dream.
yeah, it is the dream to get to one of those. But and they only had like 3 or 4 movies that I wanted to see that weekend. But I mean, if I had a pass, I'd go see all of them. Like, when I've gone to
Right.
festivals in the past, and like even like working at film festivals is great because you don't get paid, but you get to go there and you can pretty much see any movie you want, even though they say you can only get into limited things. But if you're like working the door, they're just like, yeah, just go in. Nobody gives a shit.
That's rad.
Yeah. So I mean, I recommend volunteering at movie festivals when you can, if you're poor like some of us.
Most of us.
Yeah. And you meet a lot of cool filmmakers and have like, real discussions with people, and it's awesome to do that
Mm.
even for like the lower. It was a horror festival at the hotel that inspired The Shining, so uh, that was
Is that
awesome.
where's that? Isn't that Washington?
No, that's Estes Park,
No, the Overlook
Colorado.
Hotel. You're right. That's Colorado. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think the even the Kubrick one was somewhere in Colorado, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Like the one that he used the film, the
Right.
exteriors, not inside.
Yeah.
But it's not the same hotel for the Kubrick one. The miniseries they shot up where, because I used to work there for like 20 years, like right below
No
it.
shit.
Yep, I think that's why I'm insane because I worked right below the Ghost Hotel for 20 years.
What about you? What are you even watching?
So you mentioned Black Adam. I saw Black Adam. That's pretty much the only one that I've gone to recently because, again, I've had this discussion.
Don't do it.
What?
Keep going.
Okay, sorry. I've had this discussion with like you and many people about how nobody will shut the fuck up at my movie theaters.
Oh my
So
God.
I hit my
You
breaking
told
point
me.
like a couple weeks ago, and I stopped. So I can't remember the last one I saw, but it was. Remember when we were talking about the mystery movie? And
Oh yeah.
and we
The
just didn't go
Regal
to it.
mystery movie.
Yeah, because it was the most cucked
Dude, yeah.
movie ever.
The fucking best beer run ever. It was like dropping on Apple like a few days after. That's such bullshit.
Yeah. Well, they're doing it again, so we'll see what bullshit movie.
What are the
they
odds
have.
it's a good movie though?
Probably a little bit greater because like if you
Yeah.
I perused the subreddits like after all that, and everybody was complaining. Everybody was like, "No, this was bad. Like, I did not stay." Like, apparently a lot of people just walked out, and some theaters
Yeah.
weren't giving refunds for it. But it's like it was $5. So, and I eventually got a refund because you told me you're just like, it's this movie, and I looked up the trailer and I was like, no.
I ate the cost. I just stayed home. Like whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just lose the money.
Yeah, it's like well, $5 or $6, whatever. It wasn't that big of a loss to like not go to the movie theater, but Yeah.
Oh, I have Regal Unlimited. I pay
Yeah.
for that, so, I mean, it was free for me, so I just
Yeah.
ate that, I guess.
I mean,
Yeah.
you paid for it like twice over this weekend alone. So,
Yeah, yeah, more than that.
um, so like, yeah,
By
like
the way, I just wanna say,
mhm.
'cause I forgot to talk about this today on my podcast. Fucking Americans, dude. They don't have any sort of, theater etiquette anymore.
No,
It's just gone now. Some guy in front of me during Triangle of Sadness just on Google during the movie. What are you Googling during the movie?
I,
Just wait.
yeah, I like on the people on the phone, people talking. Like when I went to go see Black Adam, just somebody, and this is given this was like during the trailers, so like I don't get mad until the feature starts. Like you can talk during the trailers, in my opinion,
Yeah,
because you
sure.
could be like, "Oh, what? That's cool," or whatever. But just someone yells out, "Ben Affleck Batman sucks," and I fucking laughed so hard when I heard that. I was like,
This
"Oh,"
is during the movie?
during the trailers. But yeah,
During the oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah. That's funny.
yeah. So, but did you see Black Adam this weekend or?
No,
Okay.
no. I'm not going to.
Let me tell you, the hierarchy of the DC universe has changed. It truly has changed. And that,
Has it?
well, so I will defend that statement, not in the way The Rock had anticipated or what you think. It has changed. Amanda Waller is just now fucking Nick Fury.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've essentially turned her into Nick Fury because she is like littered throughout this. Well, not littered. She appears in it twice, but she does this very Nick Fury type thing where it's like, we're calling in these people to do X, Y, and Z. So, and then they go to a Task Force SX base, which it's just like after the first Suicide Squad movie, how does she still have fucking money to fund this thing? I don't understand. But yeah, they go to a Task Force X base, and it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, this like Task Force X is like shitty Shield, essentially.
Amanda Waller's just showing up in like every DC movie that's not the Batman
Yeah,
and show, I think.
well, yeah, because
I
they've
I
only
didn't
done
watch
one.
the Peacemaker show.
Yeah, she did show up a couple of times in that, but yeah,
Mhm.
the same way she did in Black Adam, which is she spent 4 hours on a soundstage in one costume. She might have shot like, dude, if James Gunn shot part of Black Adam, that would be hilarious to me. But like, it seems like she was wearing like the same outfit she was during Peacemaker for Black Adam.
Shut the fuck up. No way.
Yeah, so she like shot for 4 hours, and maybe she like I don't. There's no the Flash. The Flash and Aquaman are still going to be in the DCEU, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same like pink suit that she wore in like Suicide Squad. But it's oh my god, yeah,
That's too funny.
just her showing up. Like, and as far as I'll be quick about Black Adam. I really enjoyed the action scenes. The rest of the movie was meh. Like
Yeah.
they did some really cool
That
things with the action, but other than that, no.
that seems to be consensus, and that like Dr. Fate was cool, which I'll allow. Dr. Fate is a cool character, but I just
Yeah,
don't care.
yeah. He's a cool character who they CGI'd someone else's body on Pierce Brosnan whenever he was in the costume.
Yeah, yeah, that's not Pierce
Yeah.
Brosnan's buddy.
That was so hilarious because like his head would match the motions, but his body would be slightly off, and it's just like, oh, he was wearing one of those gray jumpsuits with tracking markers through most of this movie, wasn't he? But
Yeah.
but yeah, so yeah, go see those movies. I'm excited to see the Chan Parkwook one and the Triangle of Sadness. I've heard nothing but great things. Um,
Good time.
but we'll see if it ever comes to my theaters because oh god, living in
Middle America.
Middle America, even though Colorado likes to pretend it's not, it some of the people here, no. But yeah, let's move on to or actually, I wanted to ask you this: have you been playing Gotham Knights?
No, I won't.
Okay. Do you have a specific reason? Because I had a reason until last night to not play it.
I just don't care. I mostly because I didn't want to play a gear grindy game.
Mm.
Like, sure, I imagine the co-op is probably fun with like a group of friends, but like, I don't know. It just seems like a game that is not really made for me. The
I
narrative
understand.
doesn't seem like it's the strongest, so I'm just like, I'm gonna spend my time playing stuff that actually interests me. I just don't care enough to try it.
Yeah,
I'm
because
sure people enjoy it. I'm happy for them, but otherwise, no.
I was talking with a few game journalist friends about it, and like they seem to be enjoying it. They don't think it's like the best or like a great game, but they seem to be enjoying it. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll do it because I fucking Arkham City is my favorite game of all time,
Mm.
and so I really I really just enjoy like that beat 'em up style of game. So I was like, fine, fuck it, and it was $50, so I picked it up for a brand new game. I was like, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
Yeah. Better
but
than 70.
oh yeah, no, I would not pay 70 for
Yeah,
that
fuck that.
shit. But what was it? Oh, and like Arkham Origins is just a horrible game. Like because the same people who made Origins made this.
Yeah.
And that was my first question was like, is it a completely buggy mess that's going to be unplayable? And the consensus was no, it actually played fine. So yeah, I'm gonna try and dive into that later tonight. But yeah, just like now I'm like because I got so many opinions on it, and then I bought it, and I'm still just like trying to get other opinions to make me feel justifiable in buying it.
Justified.
Yeah,
I mean, if you have fun, like that's all that matters,
yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, and it just seems like, especially like the things that you don't like about the game are like things that people are criticizing about it. So it's like, okay, well, that makes perfect sense why Christian doesn't want to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig that, but like, yeah, and like I also like other people got like really hyped about it, and I just sort of got angry at that. I was like, do you not understand how bad Arkham Origins was? Do you not understand my pain?
I thought people loved that game for the boss fights.
Yeah, because the boss fights were good. It's just like a bunch of the stealth missions were broken. Like people would glitch into walls, and like you
Got it.
couldn't go past any parts if you didn't finish the stealth missions.
That's
Like
fucked.
yeah, like a couple of times people would glitch through walls and you could just run past it, and I was like, okay, fuck it. But like yeah, and you know, it's like it's mechanically it's bad. Like compared to even Asylum, like the combat is really bad and slow and hard to get a handle on. But if you play that before you play the rest of them, it feels good. But I made the mistake once of playing like City and Asylum and then playing that and being like, I hate this game so much.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm nervous for you then because I've heard the combat just feels kind of stiff and not very good
yeah.
in Gotham Knights.
Yeah, that thing is gonna suck, but I like the gameplay I was watching, like there's at least a little bit more things you could do where it's just like the way I play Arkham City and the way I speedrun Arkham City is just mash, 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 run, 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 mash, mash, mash. And like and even like if you've ever played like the nightmare mode in Arkham Knight, like the things go away so you don't know when to counter. You have to be and like it
Yeah.
taught me a lot to where you have to watch how people are fighting and when they're gonna punch you to counter. So like I don't even need like the counter
Yeah.
signs to do counters
It's like
anymore.
it's like Sifu.
Exactly, yeah, except yeah. I'm not like I like sort of because it's like sort of like a Soulsborne kind of game except with combat or
Mm.
that and I'm even though I was able to beat Elden Ring with the help of friends.
Oh fuck yeah.
I'm
Fuck
not
yeah.
I'm not really those types of games aren't really like a game that I enjoy playing. I just do it to challenge myself when I'm feeling bored. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Arkham City, like I'll boot it up like every like couple of months because it only takes me like 2 to 2.5 hours to beat. So
Oh, you're that quick on the speed run? You just
uh-huh.
fucking blaze through it? That's cool.
I mean, people beat it in like just over an hour. So I'm like, so I do it twice as slow as good speedrunners. But like, yeah, because that's the other thing is like I want to start like sometimes I want to have people like on stream and we do races in Arkham City just to troll people.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Like my friend, like we did this for charity, like I want to say in April or March or April or May, rather, sorry. And so we did a speed run race. And like he got to like the end of the game, like where you have to scan all the helicopters within like 3 hours. So like if you're like sort of racing, but like it does like require you to have memory of what's going on because if you don't
Yeah.
remember exactly how to play it, then it does take you longer. So basically, even though we were racing, I was like, no, you got to do this, this, and this while I'm still playing and doing it.
While
So
you're doing it? That's
yeah, it's
funny.
like I'm like giving him tips and tricks while I'm still like beating in 2.5 hours. But yeah, so yeah, I just want to ask that of people. But yeah, let's get on to the news real quick. We have 3 news stories, one of which is Ava related. But let's go with the first one, which is the Bayonetta voice actor controversy.
Mm.
So, for those who don't know, the voice actor for Bayonetta is different for the third game because from her words was they were going to pay her $4,000 for the game and no residuals on the back end, which that is the one part I was like, they needed to do that. And then it came back,
Sure.
Platinum said it was like maximum of $4,000 per session, which I think they said 5 sessions, so about $20,000 total, which I still think for a game of that size is still too little, but it wasn't as bad as doing 4,000 for the whole thing.
Right.
So do you have any thoughts on this before I go into my tirade?
Yeah, I mean, I think the weirdest thing about this is how people were flip flopping on Twitter, like saying, first of all, I mean, if it is indeed true that Platinum was going to pay $4,000 per game, like that is really shitty. But like again, it's my thing is that the truth is somewhere in the middle, probably.
Yeah.
And like maybe it's best to not like say like, oh, what Helena Taylor lied. Like I don't know. My actual take is that like we need to be paying voice actors better. I think it's a shame that when they tried when they were striking, I think earlier this year or last year, they had to compromise and get rid of residuals, which they were trying to include in like updated contracts when they were unionizing, or like some sector was unionizing. They had to take out residuals, which I think should be a thing that voice actors are getting, and maybe even developers are getting.
Oh yeah.
I think it's unfortunate that how messy it's been in the news, but again, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. I think hell, like if you're going to boycott Bayonetta 3, like that is your prerogative. If you're going to buy it, that's your prerogative as well. I think the most important thing is to have conversations about better pay in the industry.
For sure. Yeah.
Period.
I mean, yeah, and that's sort of my tirade is like 4,000 is a number that both people have said. So, something got lost
Right.
cuz she's not negotiating these contracts, agents are. And so maybe the agents told her just 4,000 and they said 4,000 per session and she didn't realize that she was going to do, well, she probably knew she was going to do more sessions, but realized that was per session, not overall. But still, I feel like that's kind of low for a game who's getting its second sequel and somehow became profitable enough on the Wii U to warrant a third game.
Yeah.
Like, yes. And giving residuals, like even like the anime voice actors who were talking about how they got paid like $400 for a fucking movie.
For a movie.
Yeah.
150, the Japanese voice actor for Jujutsu Kaisen 0. What the fuck?
Yeah, and he like
maybe it was 450, I don't know.
Yeah, it was something that was like unreasonably low, but it's just like if you offered someone that like to do nothing, you'd be like, "Oh, that's a lot of money." But yeah, like not to get residuals on the back end and like, cuz there are other people like other games like usually they do bonuses tied to sales and stuff like that, which is sort of like residuals or the most famous Fallout New Vegas, where it was tied to Metacritic scores and they missed it by 1 point to get their bonuses.
That's fucked up.
That was fucked up. Like it just needs to be based on either it needs to be based on gross. I'm not going to say on profit. It needs to be on gross total what they've made, and you need to give that back to people. This is like another thing that, there's like 7 different tentacles about how all this stuff like EVGA recently like stopped making graphics cards and like cucking their whole company, and like this is a whole thing where it's like people are talking about, well, if it's not profitable, why are they doing this? And it's just like, does it have to be profitable when you're paying your employees enough and you're not going into the black or into the red? Like you're making just a little bit. Like do we need to really just be more money? Otherwise, let's just not do anything. Like everything just seems a little bit ass backwards on all this, where it's just like, yeah, she should have like that contract should have come back. She should have just, even if it is 20,000, she should have like not come back because they're not going to give her residuals. Like,
yeah,
I mean that's like that was like the one thing, because everybody's just like focusing on like, well, they paid her like this much amount of money for this much work, and it's like, yeah, but when a game on the Wii U gets a sequel, like there's definitely a lot of money that came in from it. So like she should get some of that on the back end, because most of the game is most of what people experience from the game in the voice realm is her hard work. So
it's her. Like gameplay aside, because the gameplay is fucking sublime.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy Bayonetta just as much because of Helena Taylor's performance. Like she is Bayonetta to me. Like I have reservations about Jennifer Hale, and
Mhm.
I love her, but like the game is not Bayonetta 3 is not going to be the same because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and yeah. So yeah, that was my thoughts. I definitely wanted to talk because I was like, I definitely didn't want to tweet anything about it, even because it's like all my tweets in that realm are always about like just pay people. Fuck you. Who cares about profits? Pay people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So
I agree.
yeah, not too much of a tirade. But so here is so the next story is the Washington Post, and because this happened like a couple weeks ago, post like an expose on why G4 failed.
Okay.
So did you read into that, or like are you
I didn't
a
know they
G4
did an
fan?
expo. Was it Gene Park?
No, Nathan Grayson.
Got it. No. I didn't read this.
Okay.
I can tell you why it failed.
Yeah. Tell me.
If unfortunately it failed because they brought it back with like hundreds of employees to it like a TV format when we already have like hundreds of people who are like where we go to online for our personalities. Like
Yeah.
G4 like paved the way for like what we currently have already. So like they were just doing too much way too soon.
Yeah. I mean, basically, yeah, that's it. That is why G4 failed. It was Comcast being like, we need this to be as profitable as a, you know, like a cable channel to be, when there's not that kind of money in streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you are successful in selling ads, like it's not anywhere near what a cable company was doing, and that's what they were expecting, when really they really just needed to have it be sort of just like, it should have been a platform for smaller creators to learn the ropes. And instead they had
Oh, been cool.
people like Will Neff, who already was the super successful, and Austin Show, who were all these, had a very successful platform on their own and didn't need it and demanded just like a lot of money, which good for them. Like fucking take all that money
Sure.
you can, but like it didn't need to be, you know, people who were already big in the industry, and then bringing back the legacy people like full time, and not just to be like, we're passing the baton on sort of sense, was kind of bad. Like, what was it? Like one of the hosts, like the point that I just was like, I don't really want to watch this, is when they had that wrestler guy, was it Xavier Woods? They're like, he's a host. And I was like, but he like does professional wrestling. Like you put out a nationwide search for talent. Like, I know this guy's talented and he loves video games and stuff, but like, I feel like he could build his own platform without G4 or anything.
Yeah, I agree.
So there's that. Go ahead.
My thing is like, I understand why, like obviously, like if they're gonna have like a big production behind it, like it needs to be profitable. If they're gonna bring it back, like I get that, it's a business. My thing is like, it's a shame that we have to go immediately for the money route. Like, why couldn't it just come back and the focus be like, let's make something cool, similar but different and unique enough that makes us stand out. Like it's not enough to just do the same thing again, and it's like yearn for like as much profit as possible. Like that's just not going to work in today's landscape.
Yeah, it was doomed to fail. And then of course, like every like armchair internet expert was just like, it's because of what's her name, Froskern or whatever, went on a tirade about how men are sexist, and it's like, no, it definitely was not that.
Absolutely not.
That was like a thing. That was just a thing that needed to happen at that time. Like,
yeah,
like some people need to learn.
That was an awesome clip. I forgot about that.
Yeah, well, and that's sort of like at the end of the article, it talks a lot about that, because that was sort of like the last big thing that G4 did, or that G4 was talked about before they started laying people off.
Right.
But that was also like, that happened in like May, and they started laying people off in September. So like months had gone by. Right. But yeah, it was just a very unsustainable thing. But like, again, people are also framing it as like, people were like, you know, content creators were charging too much money to be on there. Like their day rates were a lot. And then they were also giving money for people to host, like top tier streamers to host G4 or to raid G4. So that was kind of weird. But like, also it was just like, they're like, people are asking for too much money. It's like, well, when somebody's giving out that much money, like you don't look that gift horse in the mouth. So like, don't blame other people for asking for ginormous contracts when the company said yes. Like, it's
Was
their fault.
was G4 the one that was paying? Oh, I think maybe you just said this. Paying people to like watch their. It was like bots watching their streams to like
Well, definitely that, but that's like
increase their numbers.
a thing every partnered streamer does. This is an insider secret.
Oh,
Every sort of like, like people at the very top don't need to do that anymore, but anybody who's like partnered in like a mid tier, like they do that or somebody does it for them. Like,
holy shit.
yeah, it's a big problem. It's bigger than most people realize. And like they punish the smaller streamers for doing it when bigger streamers do it all the time. But yeah, so they were doing that. And then, yeah, they were paying people with, big organic followings, like the top tier streamers to rate them. So, yeah, there's like XQC and like Hassan and all those people who are at the very top of Twitch don't really need to do that anymore. Because XQC runs like 7 minutes of ads, so he's like making a lot of money anyways.
Get that bag.
But yeah, no, yeah, like do it, but like these companies need to come back and realize other things. So, but our final news story relates to our main topic, which is Evangelion Thrice Upon a Time is coming to IMAX, baby.
It's about damn time.
Yeah. And tickets go on sale on the 2nd of November for the IMAX, which is going to be the 27th or the 20th. I don't think this article says. Oh no, November 30th rather. Sorry. Which is
so tickets on sale. What a week from
Wednesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah, a week from Wednesday, which a week from today, the day that this podcast posts.
Gotcha.
It would have been funny if I recorded the other second episode I wanted to, because then tickets would have gone on sale the day this aired. But put it in your calendars. A week from Wednesday is when tickets go on sale.
Also, happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween. Oh yeah, happy Halloween. That's coming up on.
Fuck yeah. I want to see this movie in IMAX. God damn, dude. I do too. Thrice Upon a Time.
I will, because I don't have an IMAX theater near me, so I will drive the hour to go see it. It's worth. I mean,
that's better than 6 hours.
Yeah, I've already decided I'm going to all the other ones, the December 6th and 11th, regardless if it's subbed or dubbed. Because again, I have trouble with subtitled anime or anything that's subtitled because I have a reading disability. So,
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Like I will that's why I still haven't seen Triple R or whatever people call it.
Oh, fucking RRR. God damn.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I think I'm just going to sit down and watch it. And like, if I don't understand it, then I don't give a fuck. But like, yeah, I'll have trouble. Like the first time I watched Old Boy, I watched it subbed and like, I didn't get that he was fucking or not fucking. He was groping his sister.
Oh, his daughter?
No, the main bad guy.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah. I was just like, why did he get so much revenge on a guy that watched him like was it because he sexually assaulted a woman or something and that ruined his life? I didn't get it. And then I watched the dubbed version. I was like, oh, because it was his sister.
Yeah.
He was in love with his sister. Ugh. Did you ever watch the American one?
I did. I actually watched the American before the Korean.
Ooh, bad choice.
Yeah. Somebody had put it on. We were like just drinking beer, and they said, "Have you ever seen Old Boy?" And I was like, "No." They put it on as the American version, but like, whatever. Like Josh Brolin and Elizabeth Olsen, like being an actor, so like I enjoyed it fine.
Yeah.
I was also like young, so like I didn't know what like proper good movies were, so like I thought it was cool. Okay. And then I watched like it's based on a Korean movie, and then I watched the original. I was like, this one bangs.
Like that's the only movie that almost made me throw up in the theater. Like I've never like been grossed out by violence or anything like that, but the fact that because there's a scene where the dad goes around and executes his family, and the son was about ready to get his butt fucked by his dad, like he undoes his belt, and I was just like, I do not feel comfortable at all with this movie. Like, but yeah,
I think I almost threw up in the movie theater for what is that movie? Green Inferno.
Oh, that's one that I saw that movie I saw that at the film festival that I worked at 2 years before it came out. And so
really,
yeah. And then when it came out, I was working at a movie theater at the time, And my friend was just like complaining about how horrible it was. I was like, I didn't think it was that bad. But I also like,
That was fine.
I also
It's
don't give a
fine.
shit about violence. It's just more like themes will hit me more than actual violence will.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, with that, let's go on to our main topic because we only got about like 20 minutes to talk about it.
Oh,
So let's start out. Where did you first get involved with Evangelion?
I think I had heard about Evangelion before, uh, and like growing up, I had like seen. I think maybe like Adult Swim had like shown it. Like
I
I
think
had
so.
seen the Ava units
Mhm.
at some point in my life, but I could never pinpoint them. And then early 2020, I think it was right on the cusp of like lockdown and stuff
Yeah.
in the States. I was doing my master's work and I needed something to like watch as I was just like mass studying all the time. Like I needed time to like decompress and do other things as well and like
Mhm.
just escape from reading all the damn time. And I think this is like when Netflix recently acquired the show and then at that point I guess like the recap movie and then End of Ava.
Mhm.
And I was okay. I've heard about this anime. It's like critically acclaimed. People love it. One of the best animes ever. Like I should give this a shot. And I liked it fine. And then I hated it. And then like at some point I realized actually I think I love this anime.
Yeah.
And then since then, the more I watch it, the more I think about it. Like the more I love it. Oh my god, I fucking love it. Evangelion so much.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I mean, even watching it today for this podcast, like I found something new in the End of Evangelion that just hit me
Mm,
perfectly right. And maybe it was because I was talking to my writing partner at the time, and we're right like he's writing a script that he didn't realize was about depression until like a week ago, and I realized was about him being depressed a week ago. So it just sort of hit us at the right point. But
going on.
it's like when Masato was because I was like, you need to see the scene because it's the scene where Masato kisses Shinji and says, "That will do the rest when you get back." But like that speech that she gives before just like hit so hard where it's just like, I don't give a fuck. I will never forgive you if you don't get into that robot. Like it just sort of hit me. And it's still hitting me right now again. But it's just but like, yeah. Like I don't know when I became aware of Evangelion, but it was definitely right before it came to Netflix and like had heard that it was really good anime. Cause like I started getting into anime, I think in around 2017. Yeah, 2017 when I met someone who was like, "We have to watch Cowboy Bebop." So, like, Cowboy Bebop
Oh
was, like,
fuck yeah.
my first real introduction to anime, and I was like, "This is beautiful and amazing." And then I
Hmm.
can't wait for this in 5 years to be bastardized in a live action version. I remember saying those words perfectly clear. No, I didn't say that, uh, but yeah, so and then it was, I think May of 2019. No, it was a little bit late. No. Yeah, it was a little bit later. It was, like, September or whatever. Netflix released the trailer for this and said that this is the first time it's coming online. And like, then I learned that it was like not available anywhere. It was available on those sites, but like
Right.
not available legally. And like, I was like, oh, well, this looks interesting. I can't wait. And then so much time passed. And then finally in February of 2020, they released the final trailer and said it's coming out in March. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because, like, for those who don't know, apparently they lost like all of the American voice acting for Shinji. So instead of just re recording that, like they did with like what Prime did,
We don't talk
essentially.
about that.
Yeah, I mean, I sent you that clip, right, of Toji.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another, like, to go back to one of the news stories, like, that clearly happened because that dude was hired for the fourth movie and didn't realize that they were not paying him to voice the other two.
Right.
Uh, but anyways, because I think he still does it in the second one too. It's just like this grown ass man at an aquarium in a child's body. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, so instead of just re-recording that, they're like, let's just redo the whole thing, and that's why like it got announced so early on, and then took forever to finally get on Netflix. Was they're like, we're doing this
Right.
properly. We're not Amazon Prime. We're not going to put the rings in the last episode. We're gonna go through and really do it. But yeah, it's just like I watched the whole thing in like 2 days, and like I instantly loved it. And yeah, that ending hit me like the end of Evangelion has hit me so hard because of like even like from Jane, stop that. Even from like my dog's fucking around. Even from when it got announced and I was like excited to actually watch it to when I actually did eventually watch it, I changed so much as a person. And as the
Right.
years go on, I keep changing and finding things new, but I still come back to this and it
Yeah.
anchors me.
Dude, this is like what's so great about, I mean, legit all about Evangelion is that it grows with me. Like no matter what point in my life, like I'm finding new things all the time.
Yeah.
Like I recently watched the End of Evangelion as well, and I had a friend over when we watched, and I don't know if I can say this on the podcast. We got a little high,
Oh, you
and
can because it's in Colorado
okay,
and I don't give
yeah,
a fuck. Like, talk
okay,
about doing
sweet, yeah. So
cocaine. Who cares?
oh, we got high, and I went mouth breather mode, and I was just like in awe of like, okay, I understand why people are frustrated with the show's ending. I think it's beautiful in its own right, but it is a difficult ending. I'm not gonna lie to you. So like, End of Evangelion is much different, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. But like, in terms of spectacle and sublime, like End of Evangelion, like really hits. And I know it's much different thematically from like the show ending and then
Mhm.
the rebuild movie ending. Um, Yet I don't know. There's something about like that really like interrogation of depression that like kind of resonates with me that I find fascinating.
Yeah, and we could talk about the rebuilds too. Like, unfortunately I messaged you first because I knew I wanted you the most to be on this podcast to talk about Evangelion.
Mhm.
By the time I started asking other people to come on, I was like, well, we can talk about the whole of Evangelion because to really talk about the rebuilds without talking about the whole is, that's bastardizing it. And even talking about
Right.
this without even, because us knowing the end now,
Yeah.
it really helps. And like, yeah, but it's such a, like, especially like I do love the original anime ending, but of course when I watched it, I knew that there was more. So like,
Sure.
so
Yes.
I get fans being pissed about that ending being like, that's it. That's how it ends. But I think it's just so beautiful. And it is a great deconstruction of not only humanity, but depression and like what it would be like to like have like a lot of depression is like the misunderstanding of other people and like having those walls sort of melt
Yeah.
away and like melding and, understanding one another fully, truly for once. It's beautiful, but also the wall, like, and then deconstruct and be like, the walls are kind of necessary, but I also think we need to go outside more and experience stuff. Where
Isn't that a little bit? I'm sorry. Isn't that a little bit great that like I'm gonna mention it a little bit. With the rebuild films, like Anno's like conclusion is like, what you're saying is spot on and it's beautiful, but also at the same time, like we should go outside a little bit more. Like, I don't know. That's great.
yeah, it's like maybe we should and that is what the ending of Thrice Upon a Time is this whole thing, like the whole of Evangelion is like this boy has the weight of the world on his shoulder and he has to become a god to make other people's visions a reality. And like basically his conclusion at the end of all this, his thesis of everything is like, we need to experience life as it is and go outside and actually make connections with people instead of, even though like I'm not like too big a fan of who he ends up with at the end of Thrice Upon a Time.
Sure.
But still it's just, but that's like, he's a cishet man. So of course he's going to choose a woman to be Shinji's partner where it should be Kaoru. It should always be Kaoru. Like, even if he doesn't realize it, Kaoru should be his lover.
Yeah. That's my one gripe with the Netflix. I guess
The
when
translation.
they resubbed the translation, yeah, they changed it. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Don't like
even
it.
like to defend that a little bit, like even though it's like so for those who don't know, in the original dub/sub, he says that means I love you, Shinji, and then at the end it means I like you, which I think because you got to think about it, these two dudes just met, like
Sure. Yeah.
so like for them to like already love each other like that, because like no matter what the translation the dub does, visually it's the same, and Shinji just really wants to suck that Kaoru cock, like he gets
Karukak.
he gets so like flustered when he's around him, and even in the dub they like show like that he's being flustered in the way he talks about things. It's different than anyone he'll talk to in the whole entire of Evangelion.
Mm.
Yeah, and even like in Thrice Upon a Time, Kaoru's like, I put your name next to mine in the Book of Life. I was like, that's the gayest fucking thing I've ever heard. Like, just let them be together.
Yeah, I
Especially
agree.
especially when, because like I get like at the end of this one, it's basically humanity restarts with an amalgamation of Asuka, Rei, and Misato in one woman. And so it's like, oh, they're going to repopulate the earth, Noah's Ark, that type of bullshit. So that makes sense where it's just like, of course, biologically you would need that. But in Thrice Upon a Time, Earth is just where it is now. Like,
Yeah.
for all people, it's just like, let him be gay. Oh no, let him be gay, please. Let Shinji
It's
be
also,
gay.
I think, it has to be like, yeah, the insertion of Anno himself, right?
Yeah.
Like, I forget his wife's name, but I think that is what essentially he was going for, I think, based on what
Oh
I read
no,
online. I mean,
totally.
who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, because his wife, I mean, despite, Mari being American, I think she's American. I don't know. She grew up. And also she's like, I didn't find this out, but through the brain poison that is the Evangelion subreddit where everybody wants to fuck Rei and Asuka, I found
Oh,
out that like her character is actually 21 years old in 2.
Mari?
Yeah, she's not actually a kid.
No shit.
Yeah, she's actually an adult. So I know, and maybe they just made that up so that there could be more waifu stuff because like it is. Oh, it is like I saw a picture where just 2 days ago where it's like Shinji holding Rei's hand and it's like he's like trying to be this like strong man type where it's just like Shinji the protector and like Rei's all has her clothes all torn up and stuff and looks scared. And
What
it's
the
just like,
fuck?
do you not realize that that is an exact copy of his mom? Biologically, like if we're gonna separate everything from like because her being her own person and not being Yui, like even if you want to go that far, it's still biologically his mom. Like what the fuck?
Sure. Yeah.
Like I get you can fall in love with like somebody, but like if you were to fall in love with somebody who was inside your mom's body, that would be very awkward and like disgusting to me at least. But
I have one question for you.
yes,
What do you find? What do you find? What resonates with you about End of Evangelion? Is it the conclusions?
it is the
Has
conclusion.
Shinji?
It is specifically when he's drifting away from Yui and he says, I've learned a lesson, but I think I'm going to keep learning that lesson over and over again. And like, yeah,
Mm,
it is like specifically that in like the table scene where he flips over the table. He's like, why won't you help me? I'm asking for your help. Everything I do is screaming for help. Like, why won't you help me? It's like, yeah, specifically the end. And like, this is the first time I watched it sober in 2 years. Um, but it's just like, but it always hits me the same where it's just like this dude is going through some shit and like needs to still learn, which of course is Thrice Upon a Time. But like, that is what always hits me. It's just like, he's always learning or he's just like trying to get through his depression as much as like because I like last year was diagnosed with major depression, so like now I understand why I like this movie so much. um
you identify with Shinji?
yeah, I did. Well, in every scene except for the hospital scene I identify with Shinji.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, yeah, like yeah, like and so like that ending still hits me, and which is also kind of why I'm probably not the biggest fan of Thrice Upon a Time because I'm not at that point yet in my life,
Mhm.
but I have the tool set to recognize I know I'm not there yet, but I still think it's fantastic, and I'm glad
Which
that it's over.
that's crazy because like that's kind of what I take from Shinji's mindset at the end of Evangelion is like he understands, but it's still like I don't want to call it a outright rejection because I don't think that's entirely accurate, but it
Yeah,
is like Shinji still has to like he understands, but he still has to like work on it and still figure out stuff, which is
yeah.
why we get to this ending. Yeah. Also, like again, the spectacle of it all as it's happening, I think is like legit a sublime experience for
Oh
me.
yeah, no, the scene I was talking about earlier, which is like when Misato kisses Shinji. It's like intercut with Asuka giving just this one of the best robot mecha fights in all of anime history. It's it's
So
just so
cool.
beautiful, and like even the imagery at the end, even the like 2 seconds of porn that shot. Like, did you notice that? Like when they do live
I don't
action
think I ever
stuff,
noticed.
this is the first time I've noticed it, and that's probably because I work in porn now. So like I have to notice shit like that. But like, yeah, I noticed that it's just like slowly going up a naked woman's body. and then it cuts to live action Tokyo 3.
I don't think I ever noticed this.
Well, that's the other thing is like I'm watching it on the Blu-rays right now because I don't have a Netflix subscription. So I don't like. I'm just wondering because I watched it so many times on Netflix. I'm wondering if they cut that out of the Netflix version.
Oh, there could, that might be
Yeah.
for sure.
Because like this is only the second time I watched it on the Blu-ray release. So, but yeah, like that just like when I was watching, I was like, oh, there's just straight up porn in this. Okay.
For me, it's like I don't know, Lilith Ray. Like I try to imagine myself like what that scale would look like for me to be like me myself and seeing this like happen and like what that would feel like, and
Yeah.
I almost can't, like I try to imagine it and I get like a little bit of anxiety just like how I would feel confronting that, which is crazy to me. And
Yeah.
also the way like everyone encounters everyone at the end, but like their own kind of because I think the people that they love the most, I think.
Yeah. The people who've touched their hearts the most, like even
Right,
because the interesting thing about that even is Gendo doesn't get to be part of the Human Instrumentality Project, yet he shows up in the episodes as like trying to explain it, and which is also why you don't see his face at all. You don't see him and Yui at all in the final episodes when they do the alternate universe where everything's normal.
right.
Like you just hear Yui and you hear Gendo, so it's like almost like they're not there because they're not. Like Gendo is chomped up and Yui is floating through space, which I thought was a brilliant sort of plot point of it's really Gendo's driving force for Thrice Upon a Time is he wants to get Yui back because he wants to have happiness. Well, here's one question that I often ask a lot. Who do you think is the worst parent of Shinji's? Is it Yui or is it Gendo?
It's a trick question. I mean,
it's not a trick question. It's like I genuinely want people to like think it out because Gendo,
a difficult one because
they both abandoned him. Like
they do, but for different reasons, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I would say Yui gets the slight edge of being a better parent because like what she's doing is like a more altruistic, maybe kind of end to like what for instrumentality, right? To like for us to like understand each other's traumas and feelings. Like I get that. And Gendo is like, I just want Yui back.
Yeah.
You know? Like for me, it's like I want to do this for everyone and for Shinji. And Gendo's like, I just want Yui back. So I would say Gendo's worse, probably.
Yeah, because like it is one of those things I think about where it's just like she abandoned her child knowingly to do this experiment, even though I guess she kind of knew that they'd be reunited eventually. But yeah, like she like gave all that up just so that she could become a god and live. Because the way it like, and I didn't realize this until I watched it this time, but like the way I had thought about it was she was doing it to become a god to live forever because she was scared of death. Because she'll outlast the universe inside of an Eva. But then like watching it this time, it's like, oh no, she fully intended for her to be the vessel to carry the whole of humanity beyond space and time, which does sort of make that like a little more altruistic. But yeah, and then it's just like Gendo.
Only a bit.
Yeah. It is a bit, at least, you know, there's like, because from my original assessment, at least there's a little bit where it's just like, well, actually, I'm doing it for everybody, whether you like it or not. So there's at least a little bit like, where it's not just like, I'm going to live forever. Fuck you. But yeah, but also Gendo just being like, not realizing there's a little part of Yui and Shinji. So maybe he should have focused on that instead of just trying to get her back.
Oh, but this is why Thrice Upon a Time hits for me, man. I don't know.
No, yeah, and like I was just like, that was one of the things. As soon as I first saw it, I was like, I'm glad that Gendo finally found his happiness, but his path to that still was shitty every step of the way.
Yes, absolutely.
Through multiple phases of his life, and by phases I mean trips around his life cycle.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
So do you think like he wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls and was able to like? Because my theory is the Dead Sea Scrolls is literally what Gendo did and like his attempts to get Yui back. And that's why like in Thrice Upon a Time, it's like so wild that, and then he has to become a god himself just to reunite with Yui. And like it just like, cause the progress of that through trial and error to go from End of Evangelion to the rebuilds is fucking insane. Like the gaps that they took in story.
Tell me more about this, because I don't think I've ever really thought about
Well,
that theory.
because the Dead Sea Scrolls are like they list out exactly what people have to do for instrumentality, and so they follow it, and they're like, "This is what we have to do," and that's like why Sele betrays Gendo and all this stuff. But then
You're saying Gendo wrote the scrolls.
Gendo wrote it, and those were just like his notes of trial and error, and they don't really talk about how they decipher it or anything. But I think it's like something like he wrote it in such a way that only he could decipher it. And so he's telling Sele, oh, we got to do this, this, and this. But in reality, he's reading the notes and being like, okay, I got to try this different and this different because this is what I did last time.
Holy shit. That is some insane headcanon I've never thought about before.
Yeah.
That fucking rock. I mean, that rocks.
Yeah. Because like to go from doing instrumentality this way to being like, I have to become a god and go find the Golgotha object is a massive leap that is very hard to explain story wise. Unless you know you're insane, which I feel like sometimes Anno writing this was.
To me, I've always just accepted that these are like some kinds of artifacts that just exist or have existed, and like they just came across, I guess, or discovered or searched for. I've never thought about it as Gendo has been writing and rewriting, and that's kind of based.
Yeah. I mean, and that is one of those things where it's like you have to be very deep into this and understanding that these are all just cycles that happen over and over again. Whereas Thrice Upon the Time might be the final cycle, although I'm not convinced because Kaoru, they show the coffins of Kaoru and he's only halfway through his own cycle.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's like where you get all this where it's just like, well, this shit has been happening over and over again on our planet. And because that's one thing that they never like go into, but they explain where it's just like, well, we know these angels are coming and we know the names and when all this shit is happening because it happens at the same time every cycle. So, but yeah, that's like one thing that, cause yeah, I think about this way too much and I have way too much free time to think about
as one should though. I think about Ritsuko pretty often.
I do too. You think she's fucking Gendo?
I mean, probably. There's some issues there. I just think she's a cool character.
Oh no, she isn't like that's the other thing is like because of the Magi where it's sort of based on Anno being like there are three different parts to a woman. The woman as a worker, value to society. The woman as a mother, value to like the son, and then as a lover, value to her husband. Whereas like men, and this is especially shown through Gendo, where it's like Gendo's a bad father, but what really separates most men from being a good father is just being in a child's life, where you can have a father go throughout your life, and I have personal experience about this, but they can still fuck you up massively.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just like, because that's just like an interesting thing where we demand, especially in 2022, where it's just like a woman has to work, give birth, and be a good lover to, the main provider. But because of the economy, we can't just have a woman stay at home.
Because of the economy.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, isn't it?
Yeah, there's like my friend sent me a research paper that I did not read into because, again, bad at reading. But like where they break all that down, where it's just because it is an interesting concept because of the way society views women. Where it is like, yeah, we want them to like be independent, but we also want them to have children, and we also want to sexualize them and have them be our lovers. Like, it's very multifaceted and then is like represented in the Magi, where Gendo's lover doesn't want to kill him.
I want you to link me to this research paper.
So I'm gonna talk to that guy tonight. So because I do want him to send that to me again because I think I'm finally at a point where I want to read it. But yeah, I'd like imagine doing a dissertation on this, like, and not just on a podcast, but like for real academia.
I feel like it certainly has to come up at some point in grad work. for sure.
Oh yeah. And like I mean, I'm doing 5 podcasts on just this whole series. Like it does
Yeah.
demand which is another thing, like sort of some of the other anime that I enjoy, like even Cowboy Bebop or Ghost in the Shell, where like it pretends to have this deeper meaning, but really there's really not that much below the surface on them. Whereas this one is
Mm.
like you go to the Earth's core and still not reach the bottom of what everything about this whole stuff has to be.
That's That's what I both I mean, that's what I love about Evangelion is how difficult it is. Like, no,
Yeah.
I feel like when I make steps towards like more understanding of it, I end up having more questions that I can't answer until like I don't know months later that I start thinking about it again.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anno's like on some other shit, like to come up with something like this rich, textually rich and challenging, but also satisfying. Like it's
Oh yeah.
legit like S tier fucking art.
Well, and again, like I can give I just don't understand. Like I definitely don't understand how like he was able to put this much depth into like this series and like the end in like the time
Mhm.
frame, because it was like 2 or 3 years for this. Whereas like the rebuilds, that's been like 10 years, maybe like 8 or something that shit took to make. Whereas like
Oh, since the first rebuild?
yeah, since the first
Right.
rebuild.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
like it was over a way longer time, and, like, so you can understand, like, oh, he probably thought about that a lot because of how much time he had. But, like, yeah, just to, like, go this deep on something on so much stuff and to, like, amalgamate so much different, stuff of society and religion and meld them together to make
Mm.
something so beautiful is always, like, fascinated me, especially the first time watching it was, like especially being, like, growing up, and having a lot of religious trauma from being forced into a church. Uh,
Yeah.
and not to mention, like, there's like the Christianity part, which of course is my trauma, but there's also like a lot of Jewish mysticism boiled in. Like to go through that and read that is like insane.
I haven't picked up on any of the Jewish, stuff. I
So
don't think
like the
I've
tree of life is in Jewish mysticism, and like that, uh, when all the Avas like line up and they have that, I forget, like the symbol like in the air, and there's all that writing and stuff.
Oh,
Like all the writing in Gendo's
yes.
office, yeah, that's all from Jewish mysticism.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's something like I wanted to read into for a long time too, and haven't. But like, yeah, it's just like the amalgamation of bringing sort of religious things in, and that's like it's like a big thing in like Japan because there's a lot of like missionary stuff that they've been tried to like been colonized. There's the word, like colonized by religion and like Western values, and like
Mm.
they've tried tried to stick to some of their more traditions of their stuff. Some good, some bad. Um,
What what's interesting is, like, you can certainly have a religious reading of, I mean, any part of the anime. I'm even down to the fucking name itself, Neon
mm,
Genesis Evangelion. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like,
yeah.
you could talk about that, I'm sure, for, like, 10, 15 minutes, but, like, I don't think I've ever taken the religious lens to it at all,
Oh yeah.
ever.
I mean, that's just because it was so ingrained in me as a child. Like you can see like sort of all these things, and like even like because like I grew up in like a Christian household, and then I also grew up like loving movies, and so like of course whenever a good movie come out, like and this happened to like Lord of the Rings, uh like the church I went to did a whole like breaking down of the Lord of the Rings trilogy through the lens of Christianity.
Oh,
So
shit.
like I've done that like all my life. So like will always be ingrained in me, and like even like the Matrix and that stuff. Um so like but for something to like come along like Evangelion where it was specifically melded with that to deconstruct that and see those meanings is like
Mm.
the first time I've had fun doing one of those in a long time.
Shinji is Jesus. I don't
Pretty
know.
much. I mean, he is a virgin, so
That we know of.
yeah. Oh no,
Mm.
that's the other thing is that's one of the most popular theories is like I think there's one episode later on where Misato is gone. I think it was the wedding where Misato and Kashi go to the wedding. And so, although that was early on, that wasn't later on.
Mm.
I'll have to look it up, but there is some theory where it's like, oh, Asuka and Shinji fucked. And cause there's some dynamics that change a little bit like after those episodes. And then it's also sort of referenced in the end where they're like naked together.
I don't think I've never ascribed to that.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, their relationship I've never once been really like that sexual to me. I think it encroaches on it, but they never commit.
Yeah. Well, and I do think
Nor
like
do I think Asuka like is wanting to do something like that. I think she's had her own like trauma that she needs to unpack before she even accepts any kind of sexuality within herself. I don't know. Maybe I mean she's got her crush on what's his name?
Kaji. Well, and like her
Yeah.
like, and this is like another like deep mental thing where it's just like her wanting to be accepted as an adult because she's the greatest pilot, but she's only 14 and she's already
Right.
completed college and stuff where it's like, no, I'm an adult. Like, see me as an adult. And some of that, especially through a child's mind, goes a little bit more towards the sexual side. And
Sure.
so I do think there's that part of it, but yeah, I also don't think that they actually like had sex. But I do think I do think there was like some notion where that could have happened at any moment. But I think Asuka still sees Shinji too much as a child. So it's like, whereas
Yeah.
thoughts of that could happen in her mind, they would immediately just like float away because of how childish he acts and how his own trauma of being his abandonment issues sort of feed into that of him not like even if Asuka flat out said to him, "Let's have sex," I don't think he would have done it either. Too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite thing about Evangelion is that everyone has their own trauma that they have to work through to some capacity.
Oh yeah.
And to be honest, if I can, I'll mention it. Like, I think that was like my biggest gripe with the rebuild films is that they were kind of ignoring that for a while. Like, I think the third movie is like where they like really distance themselves from like a lot of the trauma that I was used to from the show and from End
Yeah.
of Eva. But I'm glad that in like Thrice Upon a Time they got back to it to some capacity,
Yeah.
especially with Misato, which I felt was like missing.
Oh yeah. Like yeah, her trauma especially is like one that sort of didn't get as much treatment as like especially like Asuka and Shinji both have big abandonment issues because of their mothers dying.
Mm,
Um
mm.
and like yeah, and then like her feeding into it. And then yeah, I don't know what Ray's deal is. She's just a doll. I'm not a doll.
Shut up.
Uh,
Ray impacted me the most. Like every time she fucking turns into goo in front of Shinji, I'd fucking
oh,
start like tearing up.
that was when that happened the first time when I watched and that like I watched that on stream, so there were like people watching me. I was just like, "What?
I freaked the
No."
fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like a jump scare for me almost.
Oh, it was yeah. It was still so metal.
Pop.
And also her coming back with long
Sure.
hair was pretty cool.
Yeah. Sure.
I love that. I love that design. There's like because I've been looking for like other costumes to wear for podcasts and stuff. And one of them I kept looking for plug suits. And what kept coming up were anime figurines. And so I like especially Evangelion figurines, and I saw one with her with long hair. I was like, ooh, I kind of want that one. It's like $50.
Oh, that's sick.
But like
That's a little pricey.
yeah, those things are fucking expensive. But I think because they're all made in Japan and stuff, like nobody here in America or in Mexico rather, is like that brain broken to make those.
I was gonna say I don't think I have like any Evangelion like merch or anything. And I looked over and I realized I do. I got a gift for
I need that.
for I think Christmas last year as a little Ray.
Yeah, I got it. I know I have the the Blu-rays.
Oh my god!
That's it.
I forgot I bought the carbon copy fucking Ray windbreaker. I've never worn it. I'm too scared. I'm too scared to wear it because this thing costs like shit ton of money.
Yeah.
It's like I need a special occasion to wear this thing. I should have worn it today.
Yeah, because most of the like the Ava stuff that I have hanging up around here is just shit I've printed on paper. Like
That's the way to go.
yeah, I printed like I made my own since I work in an office now. Instead of making family photos, I made a family photo of all of the Evangelion cast members that just
Incredible.
says family on it. Oh, I also have it's over there, a framed photo of that Misato Polaroid.
In a frame, that fucking rocks.
Yeah, in a frame, because I was gonna put that on my desk, but I'm like, even though I work in porn, like I was like, maybe that's a bit too much. That's a bit too weeby.
Legit, you know what I want? I want I can't find it. I want a high resolution photo somewhere online of that picture of Shinji and Misato's son, Kaji,
Oh
like Junior,
yes,
whatever.
Kaji
I
Junior.
want I want a wallet sized photo of that printed and like I want to carry that around with me.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Oh god, that's the other thing. Like, I'll probably be talking about this throughout the whole thing. Is like, where the fuck is the scene where Kaji fucking nukes himself inside the third impact? Like,
Mm.
because they reference it in 4, and like you don't really, because you don't, like 3 is it's so weird because it just like jumps time and everything, and like Asuka's a 50-year-old woman in a 14-year-old girl's body. Um, but like,
She's like 30 something, I think.
because it's like 15 years later, so she's like 29.
Okay.
But yeah, no, she's not. Like, she's a 3,000-year-old dragon trapped inside a 12-year-old's body.
It'd be like that.
You don't get it. She chooses to look like she's 14. No. But yeah, so like yeah, and then just in 4 there's just like flashbacks where it's like, oh, that's how Kaji died. Because
Yeah.
because you kind of forget, like in the series, like an unknown assassin just murks him. Which, God, I wish they would reveal that sometime. Oh, kind of like how, like in this movie, Gendo says something and that never gets revealed.
Oh.
But the theory is that he says, because he's like, and then it cuts. So what he said was, I needed you. I truly needed you. I truly needed you. Because she types it on the computer to that one analyst, which again, more queer representation in Evangelion. Like, we didn't know that she secretly wanted Ritsuko. No, not nearly enough. Because nobody gets, because there is no, like, it's all deep seated and hidden and queer baiting.
Yeah.
But yeah, like she's clearly in love with Ritsuko, and you can, like, if you rewatch it like with that in mind, you can see that from that character.
Yeah, but I think it's only if like you're really looking but like it comes out and it's. I guess I do appreciate that it's like really hammered, like at the end.
Yeah.
Like no, like she is in love with Ritsuko.
Yeah. Like eventually you see it, but like but yeah, it is, I mean, it's classic early 90s queer baiting, so.
Yeah. Yeah, also different culture, I guess, I suppose. So.
Yeah, which sucks because I mean, it, like, again, it could have been wonderful to have Shinji and Kaoru actually kiss in the third rebuild, but no. Especially like spoilers, that
they
death
just play
scene.
the piano.
Yeah, they play the piano closely, but like that death, like Kaoru's death scene is like, I mean, I feel trauma from that just watching it. Like, you definitely can tell that Shinji loved him a lot in that death scene. He's like, okay. Don't worry. I was the first angel, but now I'm also the 17th angel. What? Or they have less angels in the rebuilds, but yeah.
I do wish they would have gone a bit harder with it though. Yeah. Like, just hammer it just a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
it's serviceable to me, just not nearly. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's fine.
And yeah, it's just, yeah, it is like, just because it is made by a cishet Asian man. Where it's just like, yeah, he really sees himself in Shinji, and it is, it's not autobiographical, but yeah, it is.
Maybe I'm gay.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is like, maybe I'm gay, and then that's another like fan theory thing. Gay. Just a little. Everybody's a little gay. Come on.
Sure.
True. True.
So true, bestie.
As I drink from my Black Adam cup, that do they have Cheetos popcorn at your Regal?
Shit. What popcorn? I've never once asked the brand of what they use.
No, Cheetos popcorn. It's like cheddar popcorn with Cheeto bites in it, or pieces of Cheetos in it.
Funny you mentioned this. When I went to go see Tar, the Chester Cheetah popped up on the little menu. I was like, oh, they have fucking Cheeto something. I didn't look. I'm sure it's the popcorn.
Shit. Yeah, I fucking love that shit. But
no, I like the seasoning that you can buy from the stores or whatever, or like, I guess the movie theater as well.
Yeah.
The little cheddar seasoning, like those. That's really good.
No,
The white
that is
cheddar.
good. But I just like the thought of eating popcorn with Cheetos. I don't know. I love like Doritos
Sure,
and
yeah.
Cheetos are my favorite chips. So, but yeah, like when I went to go see Black Adam, they were like, "Oh, we only sell that on the weekends," and I was like,
What the?
and like I didn't want to question it, but I saw The Godfather on a Monday and I ate that, so that was bullshit.
Did they re-show The Godfather just at a theater?
Yeah, that was in
That's cool.
August. Yeah, it was. Well, and so we don't have IMAX, but we have their RPX, which is their premium sound and stuff.
Yes, I went to one of those.
Yeah, it's not great. Like
Bullet Train. It was not very good. Both the theater and the movie.
Oh yes. Okay, let's just take a break. Fuck Bullet Train. I did not like that as much as everybody else did. I was like,
no.
And this is going toward. But you like Nope, didn't you?
I fucking love Nope. Yeah.
Okay.
It's my favorite Jordan Peele.
So that's one we disagree on. I don't think it was bad. I just didn't enjoy it. And I like what I read into it was like he's mad that he has to make like cinemas forced him to make spectacles, and he made a spectacle. That was my bastardization reading into it. But like I really think just like fair. Some of these, like these great directors like Cronenberg, again with cutting and fucking the movie.
Crimes of the Future, yeah.
Crimes of the Future. Thank you, because I just call it cutting and fucking now. Like a lot of these directors, with the exception of Olivia Wilde, have really like not done really good post-pandemic.
Mm.
Like I've not.
I mean, I haven't seen Don't Worry, Darling, so I can't speak to Olivia Wilde, but
well, and like even that, I don't think she like to go back to last week. I don't think she directed it very well, but I also think it was because her attention. Like, I don't think Florence Pugh directed the movie like she was saying, or like as people claim she said, but I do think her attention was divided by, starting this new relationship and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and
undergoing like divorce and stuff.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, and it shows, but it also didn't it didn't hurt the movie. It just, like if she had her full attention on it, I think there's something she could have done better. Cause one of the big problems, like, and you'll probably see this in, like there's a moment where you realize why the editing is so bad. Like it feels like half of the movie feels like the editing is bad, but when you get to a certain moment, you're just like, oh, okay, now it makes sense, and maybe this is actually brilliantly edited. But that was like when I watched it through the whole thing, I was like, some of these cuts are weird, and I don't like them. But
I'll get back to you when it comes out on HBO Max.
Yeah,
which at some point
should be next month.
Probably next month or something.
Yeah, because Barbarian's coming on the 25th, and that's a movie I didn't get to see, but I really wanted to.
Good movie.
Yeah, unfortunately, like because it was like, oh, Don't Worry, Darling was the last movie I saw in theaters before Black Adam. That's right. But like, yeah, when I saw The Godfather, like I went to the movie theater like 3 weeks in a row to watch something, and like I just stopped after Don't Worry, Darling and didn't go. But there's also nothing in my area that was. I mean, like Bros, I kind of regret not going to see, but I just couldn't get my ass out of bed to go see it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It happens.
Yeah, but yeah, like but Black Adam was like, I don't know. Like I knew that movie was going to be trash, but I couldn't wait to see it. I mean, same thing.
Nothing wrong with enjoying some. Yeah. I haven't seen Morbius.
Yeah.
Will I ever? Probably not. I don't know if I will.
I mean, we should do a large popcorn on it, but
I would consider it. Yeah, I would have to watch Venom 1 and 2 first.
Oh God,
just because.
Look, Venom. I don't know. Venom 1 and 2 might be better than Morbius. I don't know, because Morbius. The problem with Morbius is it's just mid. It's definitely it's like Venom 1 is what I had the same complaints where it's just like we live in a post MCU world. Why are we going back to Spider-Man 3 days? Like making movies like that. I don't understand, because they're all just mid. They're not aggressively terrible. Carnage was, I think, aggressively terrible, but
there was a Carnage movie. That's right.
Yeah.
No, that's Venom 2.
Venom 2. That's right? What I mean. Yeah.
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 But also, like, it's like an hour and 50 minutes. Like,
my thing is that the MCU just ruined like movies. Period. Like everything has to be universe building now.
Oh no, yeah.
Can't we just make cool things? You know what I mean? Whatever.
I mean, yeah. And unfortunately, it's been him in the ass this time around, or this phase, because it it felt aimless.
Um,
But I mean, Werewolf by Night was really good, so we at least get some gems out
I
of it.
did enjoy that. Yeah.
Fucking Elsa Bloodstone, let's go. Okay, back to Evangelion.
Yes.
Okay, what do you want to talk about?
I mean, I think I mentioned most of my biggest takeaway is just like Shinji's unpacking of his trauma, which that's my hook for the show is always just like how can I analyze Shinji differently than I did last time, or
Mhm.
what's my takeaway.
Yeah,
And my most recent one is just like normally I was like really cynical on where Shinji is at the end of this. I mean, I mentioned this earlier. I still agree to like an extent. It's mostly coming from a cynical place, or like why he chooses to like reject um, instrumentality.
yeah,
But I think it stems from a little bit of a place of like self realization that like he has to be a better person. He's just like kind
yeah,
of closing himself off because he doesn't think he is like worthy of it, which is something that I think honestly a lot of us go through at some points, like having to accept ourselves in the face of others and understand that like people are here for us, but like denying that. I go through this shit all the fucking time. So like
yeah,
when people say they identify with Shinji, I get that.
yeah. No, he's a very like especially like you know people with depression and sort of like low lying mental illnesses like that, where it's just like yeah, he's very identifiable and like you know like even him like he's given all these choices and he just runs away where it's just like outwardly we like to project like no we would definitely like have you seen the Michael Bay Evangelion animated short somebody made where it's like
Please send that to me.
okay Michael Bay does or wait here I bet I can do this uh, I don't know I don't care if I get copyright here it is um but
God, what an
oops.
incredible poster too.
Yeah. Let's see here. Where is it? YouTube. Look at all my cool recommendations. But Michael
Dune. No, that's not Dune. That's Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. Oh god. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing we should do is talk about. Yeah, Michael Bay's Evangelion.
1949.
Uh, here we go. I've watched it so many times.
What is this? A giant robot?
Yes, and now you will pilot it.
You want me to get into this thing that I just now seen for the first time and fight the angels?
Yes.
Fuck yes! Oh,
Stupid ass,
hell
dude.
yeah. Who are you? You know what? It don't matter. When I get back, I'm gonna hit that. I'm breathing water right now! I'm a fucking fish!
I would legit watch this.
I-
On Michael Bay Evangelion.
Asshole!
Yeah.
I'm in a fucking robot! Yeah, you like that? Hoorah! Triangle! I don't give a
Oh,
fuck.
I love the interviews.
Now give me that juice.
Shinji, this is your home now.
Damn right it is. We sharing a bed?
Stupid Shinji, I'm the greatest pilot in the world.
You and me both. You wanna fuck?
Holy shit.
You know what? I'm gonna eat this motherfucker. Oh. Ugh. Yeah,
I love how much
tastes
testosterone
shit,
is in
but I'm gonna
this.
finish
Yep.
this, because that's what a man does.
I think I was born to meet you.
Let's fuck. No homo.
No
And
homo.
that's the last answer. Fuck it. I'll be God now.
He's crying.
Damn, she got big old pair of tits.
Shinji, it's your choice. Would you like to save or end the world?
You know what? Make me a new world. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh, back when that was from what is it? Animation Domination High Def. Back when Fox was doing its Adult Swim type thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So,
which I never got into.
oh, oops, I pressed the wrong button.
Turn off camera.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
turned off my camera. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I've had my friend like show me a screen and like not understand how to turn it off and just leave a call.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I love that thing so much. Got a big old pair of titties.
Maybe a new world. Oh,
Oh,
hell yeah. With all the fucking just girls next to it. Insane.
fucking steals the cigarette out of Kaji's mouth.
Let's fuck. No,
Oh my
no.
god, what was that?
That's the line. That's my favorite line.
Yeah. We share the same bed? Just fucking nods yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But oh my god. How did we get here? How did we get here?
No idea.
Okay.
Evangelion.
Oh, that was the other thing was I would watch Michael Bay do anything just for the because like even Ambulance, like a fucking 2.5 hour movie about a car chase. Like
I
what?
almost threw up during Ambulance. I
Yeah.
almost threw up.
Because of how awesome it was, right?
No, because of the fucking camera movement. When I went to go see it in IMAX,
yeah,
I was
that's
like,
right.
this is disorienting.
I didn't even see that shit in the theaters.
It's cool, but like, fuck, I'm getting dizzy.
Ugh. Yeah. No, like, yeah, I'll like, I don't know, like, I legitimately think Pain and Gain is a really good movie.
I like Pain again as well. Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's like the one good one that he's done because like the rest are all spectacles. But yeah, like a Transformers style Evangelion movie, just for the fuck of it, that'd be hilarious.
Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Oh my god, Transformers style. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I tweeted out something. Oh yeah, because like even though we're not getting any more real Michael Bay lore from Transformers, the lore of Michael Bay where Unicron is literally just Earth still makes me laugh to this day.
I will not think about this.
Oh no, it's because I was thinking of
about this.
because Gemma Chan was like, she was the CGI bad guy for the final Michael Bay Transformers, and just the ending credits is her like as a human, like walking in front of like these Transformers spires jutting out of the ground, like the Eternals. And just basically it's just like some like fisherman dude's like, what's that? And she's like, it's Unicron and he's hungry or something like that.
That sounds so fucking stupid.
It is, but I
I'm
love it so
sorry.
much. I love when because I don't know. I love like shitty, terrible movies where the lore is just like the most insane, stupid ideas ever. Where it's just like the original Unicron was just so fucking cool from that animated Transformers movie, and it's like Orson Welles is voicing it and all this stuff, and Bumblebee says shit in that movie. Ah, shit.
That sounds raw as hell.
Yeah. It's like the original Transformers movie is wild, but also awesome. And then just to like adapt that into The Last Night where it's like Bumblebee is all of a sudden Bumblebee was around in World War II.
Yeah, I never watched the movie, but I heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Anthony Hopkins has his own personal Transformers butler and stuff.
I refuse. Maybe I should watch this movie.
Oh no, I
like insane shit.
yeah. That's the thing is like a lot of like I have a few people who I'll like describe movies where like in the most insane way. And it's just like I understand if you don't want to go to the theater. I understand if you don't want to pay for it. But if you can find a way to watch these movies, like you should watch them just to laugh at. Like sometimes we need to laugh at movies. We don't need to
That's
enjoy
true.
them.
That's true. Yeah.
Like I'm sure like I don't know. Like I'm sure if more people laughed at Batman v Superman, people would get more enjoyment out of it.
We would have more of them.
No, yeah. Well, I mean that would be selfishly, yes, I would like that. But like, yeah. That's the other thing is like because Zack Snyder was trending today on Twitter for some reason. I know the reason, but it's a spoiler. But
Yes.
but yeah, but I was like thinking, I was like, you know, I really did enjoy that Justice League movie. But if they had released that into the theaters, I would not have enjoyed it. Like if it wasn't one of those where you could sit down and like, you know, pause it and go to the bathroom and watch it in parts, or the fact that it was messed up by Joss Whedon so badly, then I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I do now. But yeah.
I think I enjoyed the Snyder cut as well.
Yeah.
Like legit.
I mean, yeah. And like what he was going for I thought was pretty cool. And like also like the whole like his whole thing, I loved his whole like sort of arc because it was trying to be sort of the antithesis of Marvel. Like it wasn't trying to be light fun. It was trying to be like dark and serious and taking these characters seriously. I just think he needs like, and this is I've said this millions of times, and I've gotten into horrible arguments with people about this. Is I think Zack Snyder just needs a better writer and someone to tell him no.
Yeah, I mean that's probably true for like a lot of people. But
Yeah,
sure,
I mean that's probably true for
that might be the
Nolan.
case for Snyder.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I mean, it's people say that, right? The best Nolan movies are the ones that he co-writes with his brother Jonathan.
yeah. Well, like, well, I mean, and one of your favorites, Interstellar, falls into that category too. And like, I do think that's like the last time I've really enjoyed one of his movies when it was Interstellar.
And I get people's problems with it. Like I probably even agree with them.
Yeah,
But like I don't know. In terms of spectacle, the sublime, and just like
yeah,
well, let's just talk about love for a while. I'm like, yeah, I'm ride or die with this. Why not?
yeah. I mean, that was cool. So the original ending to that was them dying on that water planet, which I thought would have been kind of metal for them to actually do. But
They
like,
don't have the balls to do it.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's
Just
when
don't.
Spielberg was going to direct it, he was going to do that apparently. So,
Mm.
but like even if that like them going to like the Matt Damon planet and stuff, like that's when I felt like this movie was just getting long. It just felt like too long for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And like, yeah, because I don't have like I'm not like because I know some people who like really do hate on Nolan, and I do sit in the camp where it's just like I think The Prestige and The Dark Knight were like my last truly favorites of his that he made. Because I think after The Dark Knight, he just got too big and they didn't need to
Yeah,
rein
he
him
didn't
in.
like The Dark Knight Rises. He didn't even enjoy working on it.
Yeah,
Uh,
no. Yeah,
which is
that
my
shows.
transition which is my transition back to Anno, which is like how base it is to make this fucking movie as like a fuck you
Oh
to
yeah,
make this in a place of hate after like receiving fucking death threats for the show ending of Evangelion. Be like, you know what? I'm fucking depressed right now, so you're gonna get a depressed ass ending where
yeah.
I'm just like gonna explore my own self.
Oh yeah, like yeah, the character study of that, and like even like I mean even like like the two endings, like definitely this and Thrice Upon a Time are big character studies on his own thing, where like it definitely does like this definitely shows like I feel like this is like him like the end of Evangelion is him like trying to get over like a big breakup. Because at least
Mm,
that's what it reads to me at the end with like
mm,
the coffee scene, and then the ending where it's like maybe things are gonna change, but I still have to go like I'm still going back to the old stuff like with Asuka, which is it's like oh god, like the fact that people want like Asuka and Shinji to end up together, um, it just gnaws at me because it's like they're clearly toxic for each other and hate each other. Like
yeah, and that's the whole point. Like, look at like Evangelion reinforces this at the end. Like when his first thing he does when he sees her again, that like I guess what do you want to call it? Like a mental kind of conversation with her when he sees her again. Like, I mean, is it actually her? That's another conversation. But
yeah,
like, he chokes her again.
yeah.
It's his
Well,
the first thing he does.
yeah, even if like her character isn't like that character from because I don't know where it came from, where it's like an amalgamation of Masato Ray and her all together. Um, I think Ano said something about that once, but like even that, just like seeing her visage, like giving him like his immediate reaction is just to kill her again,
Mm,
and just like and just him breaking down is just like that speaks so much about where he was at mentally at the time and stuff, and
yeah.
like and then even like sort of the ending where like one of the things that did hit me hard about Thrice Upon a Time is the is Gendo just being so depressed that Yui was gone, and like him like not interacting with the world, and like not wanting to be like a contributing part, and like until Yui came along, and then he realized that there's more to life than I guess reading the Dead Sea Scrolls or whatever the fuck he was
Yeah.
doing. Um
Yeah.
and just like and then just wanting to get back to that, and like sort of like that explain like especially that explaining because you get that in the original series, but like it hits so much harder when he actually out loud says that like I'm doing all of this just to get back to her, and
Mm,
like ever like my whole world was like sad before I met her, but when I was with her everything made sense, and like
right.
and the fact that she's gone, even this child who's not only a part of me but a part of her, didn't make sense without her in the world. So like Yeah. Yeah, and you like that's like have you seen Euphoria?
No,
Okay. So
sorry.
that's fine. But there's this character in it who is a father and he's like a horrible piece of shit, lives like a double life and all this stuff. But they give him like a scene in season 2 that explains why he's like this and you just feel bad for him. Like you start to feel bad for him until you realize like because of what had happened to him, he reacted in such a shitty way when he should have when he was cuz basically it's just like there's this one major decision that happens after you see how his life could have been if he wanted to live the way he wanted to, where he chooses the wrong decision. Because again, because society demands that a father is only good when he's with his children. Where it's just like he could have been happy, without, taking care of this child and thus him like choosing to be a father to this child makes this child become an even worse version of what he is and a way more bad guy in the show. But it's just like, yeah, like sometimes just, and that's like a big thing that I'm trying to teach my writing partner about what makes a good character. Cause we're currently working on a script where this guy is like, and one of the feedbacks we got was he's not relatable because he's such a piece of shit. And I was like, what we need is just to give like a moment or something that shows that he's relatable, but he's just he's making the bad decisions. He's pushing people away because he's so
Yeah.
depressed.
Legit, like that's like, I mean, to your point and to Evangelion's point is like why it's so strong is that like character studies work because real life and Evangelion is fucking complicated. Nothing is ever clear cut. Real life is not that way. Like people make bad choices, people make good choices. Like it existing in that gray area, I think, is like where you get all the intrigue, and it's where like life fucking happens, right? So like I go back to Gendo as well. Like, is he a shitty father? Yes, but like he's also like a victim of his own trauma of losing Yui.
Yeah.
Like it's everything is in response to that, and like you have to at some point, like to some extent, empathize with him a little bit, right?
He's just making the wrong choices at every turn. And because he keeps making wrong choices, this domino effect keeps happening where he's going down this path that makes him an asshole, makes him a villain. And that's just super interesting to me. It's like, especially showing the origins of that. And even thank you, Shane, for doing that. What is it? Like Infinity War. Like we all have sort of accepted that Infinity War is Thanos. Thanos is the main character of Infinity War.
Sure.
And he's committing genocide. But we can see we can identify with his reasonings though.
Yeah.
Is why that and why that sort of hits home more on and why people sort of enjoy that is because you can see oh no, he's
because he says life is shitty.
Yeah, because we see everything around us like resources, like we're draining resources and all this stuff, and it's just and then even in Endgame they give that like a little bit credence where it's like there are whales in the fucking Hudson River, like nature sort of healed. It's like he sort of healed nature, but he did it in such a bad way that we just can't let it stand. And
are you saying Thanos is actually Gendo?
I am, yeah. No, yeah, because he's
Avengers is just like everything is always just like Evangelion.
Oh no, yeah, it is.
This is the blueprint.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, it's also like Evangelion has distilled itself. Like Evangelion, like a lot of Japanese, like I'll say this and I'll never say it again. I'll never admit it, but because it's Christian, I admit everything Christian. Just like how I admitted that I hate Morbius, but I did it for the memes. But like the only reason I said that. But like all my writing is distilled from either Metal Gear or fucking Evangelion.
Yes. Yes.
These two stories have sort of distilled and that's sort of my baseline for when I write things. Even if you can't tell that it's
legit, you fucking play the Metal Gear series and you suddenly you start seeing everything like, oh, this is just like in Metal Gear.
Oh yeah.
This is just like an Evangelion. It's
oh my god,
everywhere.
They're sending private military companies to the Middle East. That's just like what Hideo Kojima did in
Fucking Winter Soldier is Metal Gear. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like yeah, but yeah, like those two things distill and like it is yeah, like to have those things be very impactful and like I didn't fall into these things until later in life, even though I'm 20 by the way.
That's fucked up.
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
That's just a joke because someone had a birthday and they were like younger than me, but I thought they were older, so I just thought it'd be funny if I just kept saying I was 20.
You fucking got me.
Yeah. But yeah, so I didn't get into Metal Gear Solid until what was it? That Game Awards trailer back when it was on Spike and you could clearly tell that this thing called The Phantom Pain was a Metal Gear trailer. And I had never played the series and I could tell that was a Metal Gear trailer.
Oh yeah, the first trailer. Yeah,
Yeah.
Moby Dick Studios.
Yeah,
I
and there's
remember.
a giant whale. So I didn't start getting into it until that, and then of course that being like the last one that was ever made, like experiencing it all at once and buying the Metal Gear Solid collection on PS3.
Yeah.
Just was like, oh my god, maybe I like complicated characters and stories and stuff. But yeah,
Absolutely.
and then watching this during the pandemic when I was really depressed just makes
It
me feel
hits.
better. Watching this during the pandemic, and then the other thing that really inspired me a lot was Inside by Bo Burnham.
Which I have not seen, but I've heard
Okay,
like
so
phenomenal things from everyone.
this is not like a spoiler or anything, but the fact that he made that completely by himself, and it is extremely well shot, well edited. There are like zooms that he had to do in editing that are just like I've seen like people who I went to school with who are considered professionals make shit that's not half as good as what he did alone by himself in his spare
Yeah.
bedroom. Like, yeah. So yeah, like all these yeah, those things have like really inspired me about stuff.
Fuck yes.
But I think we're coming up on time. So wanna let's wrap it let's wrap it up. Wrap it up, everybody.
I will say, like,
Okay.
I don't even think we scratched the surface for even like anything Evangelion.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that like the other thing is like maybe like at some point because I really do want to like with this podcast like I do want to come back to things because it's like because it's Kale's Cool Movie Club, so it's like we're just like a club of people and we're gonna come back like again I'm gonna probably get burnt out on talking about this, but I would definitely like to someday get a panel of like a bunch of people to come in and talk about it.
That would be legit inspired.
Yeah, for a couple
Yeah.
hours about just the whole thing and like because I want to do that with Legion also, one of my other favorite shows that I recommend everybody watch that also deals with mental illness in a different way, and is a lot like Evangelion, thematically, not really,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
not story wise, but yeah, yeah, and that's another thing, like because those are like some of my most influential, like my top favorite shows are like End of Evangelion and Legion, like for sure.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's good. So yeah, so since we're coming up on the end, do you want to reveal your letterbox top 4 for the panel?
Oh fuck. What a funny. Yes, I'll reveal my top 4. Which I found out apparently people have these like in a certain order. I just fucking place them there in any order.
Yeah, I don't really have mine in. I especially don't have mine in order because we talked about it last week. But for the most part, yeah, I would say mine are in order. And I on the podcast changed because you've seen my top 4 and said that I was one of the biggest red flags for movies, which that was an awesome segment.
We gave so many red flags.
Yeah,
Myself included. I would say I'm a red flag too.
yeah, because
By the way.
yeah, right now I have on the top 4. I have End of Ava, Blade Runner 2049, Jennifer's Body, and Birds of Prey.
I mean, come on, those are some pretty base picks.
Oh yeah,
Let's be real.
which I switched out Batman v Superman for Birds of Prey because on last episode we were talking about it and it's like, yeah, I actually do like that movie a lot more than I do Batman v Superman, even though I do like because especially with Batman v Superman, like 2 hours of that movie kind of suck. Like that last hour is pretty rad.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, action.
I mean, I enjoyed the ultimate cut a bit more. I'll say that much. Like
Yeah.
rearranging the scenes a little bit did help, but
Yeah. I mean, I just like the fact that this is probably the closest we'll get for another 20 years to actually having a Dark Knight Returns film. I thought was pretty rad.
sure.
But
Yeah.
but yeah. And then just like them going ham on Doomsday was hilarious.
I did not like Doomsday in that movie. Anyway, my top
No,
4.
he wasn't great. Okay. Yes. Let's hear it.
I have Interstellar, which is maybe probably my most dorm room poster basic pick, but whatever, it's there.
That's hilarious.
Arrival,
Arrival,
which is probably my
nice.
favorite movie of all time.
I gotta watch that.
Spirited Away, so good. Spirited Away,
Gotta watch
like,
that
come on.
again too. And it's
Yeah.
like I haven't watched that since I was a kid, but I fucking remember loving that as a kid. And like
Yeah,
I don't so because they put the Disney logo on it because Disney distributed all those Studio Ghibli's for a
Yes.
while. So I was like expecting it to be like a Disney movie, and then watching it and just being like, movies can be
Changed
like
my life,
this.
man.
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I did have Grave of the Fireflies for the longest time in this spot, but I recently switched it out for Spirited Away. And then my final pick is Dazed and Confused. I fucking love this movie.
I gotta
Like,
go
it's just a
back and watch that because I remember just feeling mid about that movie, but that was also like when I first got the Netflix DVD subscription. So I
Yeah.
like every 3 days I was watching some new movie.
Yeah, no, and I get that.
Yeah.
And honestly, people who call it mid, I understand. I get people who call it problematic. I agree with.
Oh yeah.
But for me, this is like one of the marks for like when I got more into movies and like this is my desert island pick, my fucking comfort movie. Like Richard Linklater, just ultimate fucking vibes. Like Dazed and Confused. I just jam with it.
I am also like probably one of those few people where I'm like, Richard Linklater's kind of mid. I don't know. I still haven't watched the Sunrise trilogy or whatever before trilogy.
Oh fuck!
I know
the
that-
best
that's-
movie trilogy ever.
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah,
gap.
dude.
Boyhood, I remember enjoy because especially like around the time Boyhood came out was like around the time I was graduating high school too. So like I just remember it being like they did capture the essence of what it meant to be a child during that era, but I just didn't vibe with it as much. Also because I think the way that the character ended up is the people I hated in high school.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
but I'm trying to think of other Linklater movies that because I haven't watched very
mean,
much of his.
School of Rock, baby. School of
Okay,
Rock.
yeah. I mean that is a great movie. Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Legit.
that's when we like were forced to watch in every music class, which I thought was hilarious. But
It's
better-
funny.
It's better
That's
than
funny.
watching 90% of the other movies they forced us to watch, except for Schindler's
Mhm.
List.
Hey, that's a picture right there.
Yeah. I was like, oh, thank God they're like getting some class in school finally.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for doing this. You're gonna be on this again. I'm not giving you an option. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll
If
be
you
here.
want to.
I'll be here.
I love you. I love talking movies with you. I respect your opinions more than
We got somebody.
a
Finally.
lot of
Someone.
people. Yeah. No, I like the way like we've done this sort of stuff like together a few times, and it's been so much fun.
Yeah.
So I enjoy our conversations. But so where can people find you, or do you wish to be perceived at all? Because there are some people
Just
Okay, sorry.
follow me on Twitter at ISO.Christian. You'll see everything I do there. That's my one place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch his what do they call those things that you put on YouTube?
Oh, my little video essays.
Yeah, video essays. Those are pretty good. I've watched a couple of them. I've enjoyed them.
Oh yeah.
I do love
I'll
video
find that.
essays, and I like. Oh God, I wish. What was that? What was the one that was really good? It was like every frame of painting or something.
I fucking missed that channel.
Yeah.
Such a good channel.
And
yeah.
it ended on such a cucked video. I'm sorry. I mean, it was.
Oh,
it
the
was a-
Marvel Symphonic Universe.
Yeah,
Part
it-
1 and Part 2.
It was a good video, and it did point out a lot of stuff. But I was like, really, that's the last video you're gonna do? Like, you should like. There's something. Like, I know there's something better in here that
Yes.
you could have done. Yeah, but yeah. So yeah. I don't know. This is the second episode, so I quite don't have the format down.
Fuck it. We ball.
Yeah, we've all as someone pulls out a bag of Advil and Tums. That was my favorite joke from last night, which nobody understands because there's not much. Whatever. Who the fuck cares? Anyways, yeah, you can watch this episode on YouTube every Wednesday on all podcast services. Like, there's a shit ton of podcast services. I sent this out. Google's the only one
That's
I'm
insane.
unavailable to get onto because however they do it. And like, I just like, since I work a full-time job now, like it's kind of hard to like get everything down, but like it's available on Apple, it's available on Spotify. Which the Spotify was the big one that I was like, it needs to go out to that because I know a lot of people use Spotify.
Yes.
So yeah, you can listen to that every Wednesday also at around 10 a.m. Pacific. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think I have to edit this episode, so that's good. Because last week I had one of my best friends on who I went to film school with, and we had a 4-hour conversation, and only about 2 hours of that was about "Don't Worry, Darling." So, and I said some horrible things about people that we know who will not listen to this podcast.
Oh fuck! See, you had to edit that out. Yeah.
Yeah, and like then I talked to the person who I brought up because this person and my friend don't really get along. So he's like, "Thanks for cutting all that shit out." I was like, "Okay, you're welcome."
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. So I will see y'all next week. Same Kale channel. Other outro. Hey, maybe I should learn to write things. But thank you so much for as I scroll around to find out how to stop recording. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye.
Watch Evangelion.
Watch it. Watch all of it.